You're watching PEGRI TV, Rhode Island's public access channel.
Oh, you didn't know?
Yes, it is.
Welcome everybody to the Hot Tag. Brought to you by the Official Wrestling Museum. We are your host. I am Angel, and I am joined by the Official Wrestling Museum's Hall of Famer.
Low life.
And we are here answering your questions. So we thank you very much for keep sending them in to us because that gives us something to do today for a half hour. Right?
Yeah.
So we're going to jump right in. We heard that there's a bunch of new questions got added into, so we're very thankful for that. Remember, you can send it to us on our website. You can send it through social media, through our email. You can also scan that QR code that's on your screen to help make it National Pro Wrestling Day. And just as a quick note, too, next week, guys, if you guys are in North Providence, Rhode Island, come on out for the Memorial Day Parade. Yeah. We'll be walking in the parade. We'll be doing our highs. And if you see us...
We'll be easy to find. It won't be at the end of the parade.
Yeah, we ain't hard to miss. And if anybody wants any autographs, pictures, all you got to do is call us over. We'll be there, for a good portion of the day. It's a really good time for everybody to come out and stuff. Yeah. You want to pull today?
Yeah.
All right. I think he always goes first.
Let's see.
Dun, 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 dun. We need music, build-up music each time we pull.
How important are promos in wrestling?
Oh
man, that's a good one. There's some people that think that they're useless, but it's to me, they're the most important thing. As we've talked about, I've said you take Stone Cold and Vince McMahon's storyline. Okay, if there's no promos and mic work, and you just look at that, and it's okay, Stone Cold is a bully to his boss. So, without the context, it's okay, how a few matches are great for matches. ECW had a lot of great matches just for the sake of matches. AEW tends to be matches, dream matches for the sake of matches with not much storyline. Promos and storyline kind of go hand in hand, and if you have someone who can't talk, their matches Chris Benoit. I don't know if I can say said his name, whatever. I mean, he was a wrestler. Not a bad thing, but he's a prime example of someone who was a fantastic wrestler who wasn't great on the mic, and it's as great as you can be on the mic, you're only going to go so far because that crowd not everyone in the crowd can relate to a great wrestler.
Absolutely. And everybody needs content. That's what they need. Look at, the Red Sox and Yankees. You know what I mean? Why would they be a rivalry team if there's nobody ever saying that? If nobody ever said those two guys that you...
It's manufactured.
Exactly.
Going...
It's like a holiday.
To your point...
You know what I mean?
To your point, this is promo... It's not necessarily promo work, but character work, which is... if you want, the Red Sox were never more popular than when they were the Cowboy Up team and the the Dirt Dogs, because they weren't just a baseball team; they had a characteristic.
Exactly,
and that goes with promos. Macho Man Randy Savage, awesome in ring, but out of his promos. Dusty Rhodes, he would just be an overweight guy if
Jake
he
the
couldn't
Snake
talk.
Roberts.
Yeah,
you have all these guys without a promo. It doesn't tell the character. It doesn't tell the storyline. Right. It doesn't tell, anything that you need to know for you to invest yourself. Prime example too. Look at Ricochet. He took on Judgment Day 3 weeks in a row. A month or two back, right? What was the point of that besides just getting him an outing? Nope, the promo work of him talking about it, saying what it was about, Judgment Day talking about it, made you invested into why it was important for these matches to continue to happen. Which, did they drop the ball? Yes, but still, I mean.
Well, because that didn't not to go on.
No.
That didn't end up going anywhere.
No, it really didn't.
Like at least maybe he beats all of Judgment Day, and then gets a title shot. Works his way
that
up
would
to a
be
title
nice.
shot. But
All right.
so promo work very important.
Was there really 2 Max Moons? So
Yeah.
there was. Conan.
Yeah, Conan was the original,
Yep.
and then Paul Diamond.
Yep.
So do you know the story of that? Like they wanted Conan to do the Max Moon character.
Yep.
He came in. I think he might have only done one appearance, or maybe very little. A couple.
I heard there was 3 altogether.
Okay, yeah, very little, like under 5.
Yep.
They made the custom suit for him, that suit. And so Conan's told the story where he shows up to one of the shows, and like Pat Patterson's there to greet him.
Yep.
And he's like, yeah, someone's going to pay for the taxi. And they're like, what are you talking? He took a taxi there or a ride. And they didn't, he was like, someone's going to pay for this. So there was heat there. And then Conan ended up not staying. And then they put all this money into this costume and stuff. And Paul Diamond was like, I can fit into it. And so he started doing the gimmick.
The gear, though, was different, though.
Yeah,
It wasn't
a little
exactly,
different,
yeah,
a little
the mask
different.
was definitely off.
Yeah, and I think originally, I can't, off the top of my head, I can't remember. I think they were going to call him something different, too.
So his original name was Maximus Moon.
Okay.
Yep.
I thought it was even something even, yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't know how the character would have ended up doing. Conan, I loved Conan back in the day, but I think that he made the right choice for his career. Because as Max Moon, he wouldn't have been remembered like as much as he was with Conan. So.
Yep.
So Max Moon. So I ended up meeting Paul Diamond, and he was in the Max Moon gear, and they ended up taking a picture next to him, like sticking my middle finger up. He didn't know, but it was because Conan was doing his podcast, and he was always clowning on Paul Diamond because he's like, yeah, the guy said he's going to do that gimmick, and that, I mean, to Paul Diamond's credit, he's getting a payday, but Conan was basically calling him a clown and stuff. So I did it just to humor Conan.
Oh, nice of you.
Why don't companies use jobbers these days? Well, I mean, they do.
They do bring up indie guys once in a while.
Because they have their own jobbers, basically. They have guys under contract that, I mean, it's not like the same enhancement talent like it used to be. Now it's guys like, for example, WWE uses like Cedric Alexander, Apollo Crews. I mean, guys that just aren't as over, that they don't not even just as not as over, but they don't give as much ring time. And I don't know, because I don't watch like Main Event or if they still do all those shows.
Yeah.
They get TV time there, but I mean, who watches that?
Right, and I think too, for them bringing in jobbers, it's more of a liability now than anything. Back in the day, people were like, "Oh my God, I work for WWF. Oh my God, oh yeah, I hurt myself, but that's okay. I'm good. Now it's like every little nick and cranny. Even down to catering, they have to make sure they watch for this and that.
So much more of a different business.
Somebody would jump on a lawsuit for no reason.
And the thing is that was cool about jobbers back in the day is like then when we got into it, we're with guys that I saw him on the set subbies on whatever Superstars, or I saw him work this guy, and they were just jobbers. But then in our area,
somebody
it's like
big.
it doesn't matter that they just went and did a job. That's still a big thing. And, I mean, it's a lost art form in a way, if you want to call it that.
It is, and most of them now is just used as security guards and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's kind of what they do now. Is that version of the jobber is more of the security guard or a doctor. They play a throwaway character on the TV show. So, are you happy to get this question?
I'm happy about this one. What is your thoughts on Bayley?
Well, of course, you love Bayley.
I'll
let you take it.
Yeah, I think Bayley is absolutely a complete package deal. She could play heel, she could play face. The 4 that came up, she is the only one that keeps on going, keeps on trucking, can keep selling merchandise, can keep getting over with the crowd. A great ability in the ring, doesn't need to grab tons and tons of promo time to get herself over, but when she does do promos, she fully delivers. Looks great when she's out there.
Yeah.
Her merchandise sells like crazy. She doesn't ask, hey, I want millions of dollars just for me to be out there. out of everyone, she had the harder road to pave, and her road's already been paved, and I think it has surpassed everybody.
Yeah, I mean, so you're talking about the 4 horsewomen.
Yeah.
I think Becky would have had the harder road, but when she got that broken nose and the main
Yeah.
gimmick just came organically, that made her. And had
Yeah.
that not happened, I don't think she would have gotten over as well as she did at that time. Just a point I was bringing up. But Bailey, yeah, everything you said. I mean, she's a great worker. Everything that she's got, she's worked for.
Yeah.
You can tell it's someone who has a love for the business. She was a fan growing up, which is always cool to see. And you're talking about her, her character work is great. Her promos are good. And her ring work, I mean, probably the best women's match I think I've ever seen is her and Sasha Banks at the
Yeah.
NXT Brooklyn show. I mean, that really, with all these women matches now, that really put women's wrestling. Like,
Yeah, it really did.
I gotta say, it's that feud in general. Her and Sasha had another great match. The what was it? The last man standing match, or they had another match after that.
did. It
and
might have
it
been
was
that.
also great too. It was like their last match in NXT.
Yep.
Yeah, when they did the call-ups, I'm sorry, when they did the 4 horsewomen call-ups, she was the one that got when she came up with the wacky waving 2-man guys, I mean, she super over. So yeah, I double up on everything you.
Yeah, Bailey all day long.
Let's get a good shake in here.
And another thing about Bailey,
And she looks
out of the 4 of them, her figures are never a peg warmer.
And she looks good. She's easy on the eyes. All right, let's see. Here we go. Who will beat Cody Rhodes for his title? That's a good question because I don't think he's losing it anytime soon.
Nope.
So with him being on SmackDown, if he was on Raw, I would have said Gunther will be the guy. Do I think Rock is going to beat him? I don't know. I hope not.
Yeah,
because
me
Rock
too.
doesn't need a title.
No.
I could see maybe if they wanted to push Solo. This is down the line. This isn't anytime soon.
Okay, yep.
I could see maybe if they wanted to push Solo. I mean, they're building him up, so I could see possibly that. I think whoever it is, it has to be something special.
So I think it's either going to be Solo, or if they keep it on Cody for a while, which wouldn't be bad, okay?
I think they should, yeah.
I think it's going to be somebody that's going to be a next up and rising star, and it's going to be Austin Theories.
Really? Austin
Yep.
Theory?
He's
What
getting a
about-
lot of praise from a lot of vets in the business.
What about, they just called up Carmelo. Do you think that they would give him a push like that, like a year down the line? I think he's keeping it until next Mania, at least.
I don't see him. I think he's going to have the same fate as Alexander down the road.
I think it'll be a
Because
Cedric Alexander.
yeah, because
I could see him
he's
being-
very similar.
Yeah.
And if they're not doing anything with Alexander, what are you going to do with somebody
Well,
that's
the
already
difference
at this?
between Carmelo and Alexander, Carmelo was much better. Cedric Alexander, when they did the Cruiserweight Classic, I was like, this guy's going to be a star. Didn't know he was never really going to get that ring time, that
Yeah.
TV time. I think Carmelo is much better on the mic and stuff, so I could see
He
him
is
being
better
more.
on the mic. I don't see him that he can hold a top title
Okay.
for the company.
Okay.
At least that's me.
Yeah, so I say we both said Solo.
Yeah.
I think that Solo
safe.
is a solid pick.
Who knows? Maybe Paul Heyman.
You said that you wanted Paul Heyman to be
I do.
Roman.
Who had or has the best ring gear?
Who had and has?
Or either way.
Okay, so right now, simply Cody Rhodes has, I think,
Absolutely.
best ring gear now.
Yep.
Of all time, or old school, man. Yeah, I mean, you're talking. Macho Man always had some great.
You know, that was going to be my go-to, was
It's-
Macho Man.
It's funny because I've been playing.
How about Rick Rude?
Rick Rude, Rob Van Dam, those
yeah.
those guys, Ryback even, because Ryback used the same
Yeah.
airbrush guy as Rob Van Dam.
Yep.
Rick Rude with the tights that he would have every pay-per-view. That's kind of special. Yeah, those guys are cool. Macho Man is funny because I was going to say I play a lot of 2K with my son, and I like to take some guys and edit their outfits and stuff.
Yep.
And one of my favorite outfits Macho King ever wore, it was like a light blue spandex, and just the way it looked was so cool. Like Macho Man had some. This is when he started wearing those
he
colors.
invested a lot.
Yeah, that's the thing is some of these guys, they know, hey, I'm going to take my money. And I always liked Ultimo Dragon. I always loved.
His gear was cool, but it wasn't.
I don't know. I loved it. I liked it because
I liked it, but
Liger, Jushin
what about
Liger.
Rey Mysterio?
Yeah,
his gear is
another
awesome.
guy who is like on the big pay-per-views.
Yep.
He tends to be a character or.
What about New Day when they were having their strong run?
Well, you know what my favorite New Day gear is? It's pretty cool.
Let's see if it's the same one as mine.
Well, so they started out and it was all white.
And it's the number chart?
Yeah, and
yes!
every pay-per-view and so they had
I
a new,
love that
they had,
one.
Yeah, and I don't
Yeah.
know, they never really
They
put
never
it out
finished
there.
it.
Well, they never put it out there either. Like
Nope.
they never made it known. I caught on because they released a figure where they were just wearing the all white, and,
Yep.
and I'm like, that's a weird looking figure. And then I'm looking at it like, oh, it's color by number. And then every couple weeks or so, they'd have a new color on.
Yep.
I thought that was so cool.
That was awesome.
Yeah. You know, I could sit there and say like Demolition, but a lot of people would be like, those are the BDSM things and stuff. You know, it's like when a guy like Hogan tends to start to wear like I love Hogan in like the light blue and the red knee pads or the light blue and the white knee pads. I love the different stuff when they tend to start to wear the same stuff forever. But yeah, Cody, I think, has the best gear today. LA Knight has some.
Yeah,
pretty nice gear.
I will agree with that.
And then as far as the women, you know, because we're talking a lot about the men.
Oh, yeah. That's what-
You know,
So it's tough
I
with women
totally
because-
dislike Nia Jax's gear. I think she has such the wrong.
You know
gear.
what? I don't know. I kind of do like her gear now. I do. I think
Sometimes
it's
it
better
can be
than
a hit,
before.
but-
Yeah. I think it's
Damage
harder to
Control.
talk. Right?
They all wear great gear.
Yeah. I think it's harder to talk about the female gear.
Yeah.
Because there's so much detail in everyone's gear.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I think it's kind of hard to
I think,
say this one is better than that one.
My favorite of the female gear, I gotta go with Tiffy Time because, oh God, her gear is some
All right, pull another one.
of my favorite gear.
Before we have to go after hours.
I love Tiffany Stratton.
Oh my God.
Natalia recently has been wearing some pretty good gear.
Yeah, she has been.
Yeah, I'll stop with the women because I could go all day with
Yeah.
that.
Paul Heyman.
I
again.
really like Zelina Vega's when she wears the Puerto Rican.
She
one.
comes out with good stuff. She does.
What are your thoughts on TLC matches? So, I mean, when they started out, they were awesome.
Yeah.
I almost said something I shouldn't have, but they were awesome.
Good job.
I mean, Dudley's, Edge and Christian, Hardy's, those were awesome matches that it's kind of funny in a way. I was going to say classic, but the thing is, I only remember certain spots. There's been so many that now it's almost like, okay,
Yeah.
it's just a match now, and you know it's going to be something to watch, but the specialness has worn off, I think, with the sense of, or in the aspect of, now they do, the pay-per-view is based on that gimmick, like TLC. No,
Yeah.
You know you're going to see it every year, or like Hell in a Cell.
Yep.
It takes away from the special.
It does. I agree with
match.
that. And I also think, too, is almost every match you have chairs, you have tables, you have ladders coming out. You put somebody through a commentator table.
Yeah.
It kind of takes away the danger aspect of this match. And I think, you know, once it was done, you're not going to be able to recreate it. And
they-
I
they've
think
done
that's the
so
problem
much.
with that.
Yeah, they've done
exactly.
so much that it's, how can you top that?
Yeah.
Something. When you talk about the commentator table, just, you know, for taping purposes, last night on Monday Night Raw, the commentator's table was used in every single match, and it never broke.
Yeah.
But
They're using good screws these days.
TLC matches, like I said, you know it's gonna be something you're gonna watch. You're never probably gonna be let down. You can be like, it wasn't what I expected, but what do you expect at this point? And the last thing I'll say is just that you watch it and you're like, at this point, you're like, please don't die. Please don't die, you know, because you're
Yeah.
worried so much for these guys.
Yeah,
Because
exactly.
they need to top, and it's hard to do that. All right.
That's true. Is it a rule for every wrestler to wear knee pads?
Is it a rule?
Yeah.
No.
No. Smart for you to wear knee pads.
I mean,
Extremely smart for you to
know,
wear knee pads.
I know.
But not
I
a
know
rule.
in my circle, it's like when a guy's not wearing knee pads, they look kind of awkward for the most part.
True.
Pete Dunne doesn't wear knee pads, but it doesn't bother me. Some guys.
I think
even,
his tattoo helps it.
Yeah, I don't think Gunther wears knee pads. A lot of European guys I noticed don't wear knee
Right.
pads or elbow pads or anything, because you'll notice with the
But they're
knee
not doing
pads-
too much knee work.
Yeah,
You know, if you think about it, they're not landing on their knees.
some women don't. Ric Flair used to wear his knee pads down around like his shin.
They never stayed on his knee.
Right. Yeah. I mean, he started with them around his shin, so
Yeah.
he never did. So I don't wear knee pads. I have, but I don't usually. But I'm not dropping knees on anyone, so.
Right.
So no, it's
Yeah,
not a
it's-
rule. I think number one, it could either go with the gimmick, like okay, you wear knee pads because it goes with this costume or this gear, and it's two. Some guys just might not like wearing not wrestling but related. But I never liked wearing a cup playing like football. It felt like it was
Right.
constrictive and stuff. And
And I get
some
that.
guys might not like the knee pad feeling or elbow pad feeling. So
Yeah, I think it kind of goes to what your moveset's going to be.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? For what you're giving and what's happening to your body, too.
and also like you
know
said,
what I mean?
moveset, where some guys like Adam Cole, where he makes a point to pull the knee pad down. I mean, to let him know I'm gonna hit him with this knee, or when the guy like The Rock takes
Yeah.
his elbow pad and throws it, or a guy will take his elbow pad to throw an elbow. It's part of the presentation too. So,
Yeah.
And some guys just wear them for the look. Some guys might not really need them, but it's like it looks good because it does look awkward. It's like, also guys that don't wear wrist tape.
Yeah, I don't like that.
No, I don't either. Ahmed Johnson, remember, he used to wear pads all up and down his legs.
Yeah,
he
he was
was always hurt too.
Yeah, he was protecting himself left to right.
Pulled out a couple here. Let's see.
Oh, man, you got excited.
All right. Should they have had Andre the Giant win and hold the WWE title for a few years? So I'm going to say that they didn't need to because, okay, so maybe before the WrestleMania era, you could say, okay, he could have beaten maybe, Bruno held it forever.
That was a different time frame, though.
But
like
the
you were
thing
saying.
is, if Andre won a belt, who's going to beat him?
Well, that's the thing. And Andre the Giant was the attraction piece.
Yeah.
A title belt is the attraction piece. So if you're putting your title belt on your attraction piece, what else are you going to market on your show? You know what I mean? You put a flyer, you put your world champion on it, or your championship belt, even just that image, and then Andre the Giant, you're selling your tickets. So I think, like you said also, who's going to beat him?
Right. He doesn't
so
need
I think,
the belt.
Yeah.
Certain guys just don't need a belt. Like he was one of them. He's going to sell tickets regardless. The belt is a tool to sell tickets
Yep.
or to get people over. And, when they ended up when he beat Hogan and took the belt and then immediately resigned it to Ted DiBiase,
Yep.
I think worked perfectly.
Yeah, I think
he
that was
won
smart.
the belt. He finally won the belt, but we didn't have to worry about how are we going to get the belt off him because he just I said the wrong it's relinquished. He relinquished the belt to Ted DiBiase, and I think that worked out fine. I don't think he needed the belt, to be honest.
Yeah, me
It
either.
didn't ever hurt him not to be a champion.
Yeah, I don't think he needed it. Oh, let's see what we got here. I guess it's the topic of Andre today. Why did Andre the Giant wear a crossbody singlet?
So what's that with the one strap?
Yep.
Well, so when he turned heel, he had a bad back. So
Well,
I
that
know he
was
hiding
that
his
was
back brace.
that's what it was.
Was that
It
the main reason?
Yeah, because he had to hire his back brace. That's why he ended
And
up
it
doing
was
the
just a style
strap.
then. Like Bobby Heenan wore that too.
Yep.
I mean, a lot of guys wore that. Jerry Lawler had the top part.
Yeah,
like that.
and plus too, if he had two straps going down, I think it would have took away.
And it
That
could've-
one strap made it look like, oh man, one broke off him because
maybe
he's
it
so
was just
big.
easier too for him to just
Just
do
put
one.
it on, yeah.
And maybe one day they just said, okay, I'm going to wear a singlet now, and that's the one he picked.
Yeah,
It could have
it could have been the only one that was inside.
And in actuality, and now, I mean, I know it's in hindsight, and you're like, man, I couldn't imagine Andre with two straps. Because if you look at in a sense, it does, thinking about like Big Show and Giant, like he also wore that, obviously, because they were trying to steal the Giant look.
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, when he was the Big Show, when he did have the two straps, yeah, it maybe wasn't, you're covering more of the body.
Right.
So it's showing more of the body, and with a big guy like that. So yeah, I mean, I think maybe with the black, it was fine. I think maybe when he switched to the blue singlet, maybe then he could have put the other strap.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know if it's just because of the black coloring of it.
Could also be the material cost too.
Yeah, he could have been like, no.
Yeah, the strap could have cost him another $300.
Should all wrestlers wear wrestling boots?
That goes, I guess, back to the knee pads. Like, you know, it's with comfortability, it's with your character. You know what I mean? I loved, remember the head shrinkers? When they were trying to put boots on them and they couldn't do it. I absolutely love that. So I think it goes.
Causing them to lose.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's. I mean, maybe when they're training and there's no one around and stuff, you know, maybe wear boots for that. But like if you're if you're training, trying to figure character out, you know, you go with like I don't wear wrestling boots because my character would not own wrestling boots. There's certain guys that should wear wrestling boots. There's certain guys that shouldn't. Like the Brooklyn Brawler always wore wrestling boots, and it was like he should just probably wear sneakers or like steel toe type boots, like work boots or something. It didn't make sense for him to have these shiny boots, and then he looks like he looks. So sometimes the wrestling boot, it's just again also comfortability.
I thought there was a gimmick though. I could be wrong, but I thought I remember hearing that Bobby the Brain Heenan bought those boots for him.
Oh, if that happened, that could be storyline wise. That would be good.
I'm almost 100% sure I remember that. I could be wrong.
But yeah, it's just no, not all wrestlers should. I mean, if you're just an actual wrestler guy, yes. But if you're playing a character, you wear like for example Kamala. Should Kamala have worn wrestling boots? No way. That would kill that character. You know. So.
All right. Who was the best King of the Ring winner?
Ooh,
this is a good one.
Very topical.
Yeah, because this week on Off the Ropes, we're talking about the history of the King of the Ring, and on the Four Corners, we're talking about people that we believe that should have been King of the Ring. So this is a pretty interesting question.
So maybe I don't know. Should we answer that? What is it?
Who was the best King of the Ring winner?
Okay, it's kind of. Well, no, it's not going to give away.
No,
we can answer it here because we're going to go
into it. Me personally, I'm going to say Bret Hart, and the reason for that is
you would say Bret Hart.
He's the only two-time King of the Ring.
So for me, I'm going to actually say Owen Hart. I think that
contrary,
Bret Hart would
agree.
Bret Hart would have been my pick.
Yep.
But Owen Hart, just in the sense
he really ran that character.
Yeah, exactly. It made
fantastic and went over good.
That's but we'll tackle that question more on Off the Ropes. So.
Oh, I think this was your pick. We'll try to get one more question in, folks. We're running short on time. We'll see what we can do. Make sure you guys scan that QR code for us. Help us out. It only takes about 10 seconds to do to make us get a National Pro Wrestling Day. It's totally free.
Okay. Was Fabulous Moolah the greatest female wrestler of all time? No.
So, yeah, exactly.
She was the most.
She was the well-known.
She was the most well-known.
She had the belt, but a lot of people don't realize she monopolized the women's division. So it's very easy when you run something to call all the shots and make
very
things
political.
known.
I mean, could she have laced any of the women today's boots? For the most part, the women of today, most of them, no. It was a very different time.
Yep.
The women's match was okay. Let's throw the women's match out there. It's two women.
If you wanted to book a woman, wrestler, you had to go through her.
She wasn't a good wrestler at all. I don't care how I sound. She wasn't a good wrestler at all. She was a good character. I mean, I think her character work was fine. She wasn't a good wrestler. She wasn't, from reports, wasn't a good person.
Yeah, more and more is coming out on that and stuff. So, guys, thank you so much for sending in your questions. Make sure you keep sending them in so we have something to answer again next week.
Yeah, this week was a good week. A lot of
thank
questions
you guys.
about
Keep
rules.
keep sending anything you guys want. Even if it's something easy and you want to test us, do it. Let's have some fun. And you know what they say. You write the questions.
We got the answers.
See you next week.